everybody, welcome back to Building SouthLake. So today, I know we actually missed a week last week. Things have been pretty hectic at work and also just really long days. So I didn't really have time to record SouthLake last week. But today we're probably just going to work on some roads, talk about some different things, and some amazing things that have been going on. And mainly we're going to be talking about new games because that's really what's been going on. So, but before we do that, of course, we already have a sign. Sweet. We're going to come over here and do our subscriber of the week. So let's fly in here, and we're already almost full here. I have to figure out another place to put these after we're done. So Fledging Meat, kind of a weird name, but thank you, buddy, is our subscriber of the week. So FLEDGL, Fledgling, so ING, and then Meat. Make sure, yep, okay, I did get that right. So there we go. So Fledging Meat. Thank you very much for watching, bud. It is greatly appreciated. So yeah, like I said, we're probably just going to work on some roads. So yeah, coming out, and speaking of one, Halo 5 just came out. Now, some of the reason, if I'm being honest, why this video is coming out later in the day is because, one, I had work and I get off at 5, but it is now 7 o'clock at the time of this recording. I have been playing Halo 5 a little bit, I will not lie. It's a very fun game, and so far, the most thing I'm interested in is Forge, which I haven't really seen too much about Forge on Halo 5, and that's actually what I used to do. That's the first game I really started to use my creativity in, because I didn't know about Minecraft back then. It wasn't around on the Xbox, and I really started my building maps, and Halo 3 was with the first Forge, and so I really just kind of went from there. And I actually got offered a job at Bungie at one point to help make maps, but I was too young at the time, so I could not do that because I actually did run into a Bungie employee who we basically played mini games and stuff like that together. Now, this was a very long time ago. Was it real? I don't know. It's just one of those things where, you know what, and I never really had the chance, so I'm not going to know if it's real or not. We're going to need grass. Let's get rid of all these. And so, definitely Halo is one of my favorite games when it comes to building because of just like how much creativity there was. Halo was always a game because of Forge that really made it to where, you know what, if you didn't want to play online like the actual matchmaking, you could actually just have something else to do, you know? And that's one thing I loved about it. And I got really good at Forge. I got really good, especially in Halo Reach. I was making mini games left and right. And some of you guys might have heard of the Halo Forge epidemic. I'm not sure how big they are anymore because I haven't really seen or heard much about them. But they are basically like, I'm trying to think what would be the best way to describe them. They're basically like one of the most popular Forge building teams on YouTube, basically. And they just build a lot of cool stuff. And some of their maps have actually gone into map making, like into the actual game later on for like DLC and things like that. And they're really good at building maps, and that's what they do. And I was actually a part of them for a little bit, not part of their actual YouTube channel, but just part of their group. And so it was actually a pretty big honor to be a part of it back then, you know, just because, you know, it was a big deal. And that was before I started YouTube myself. I mean, I did start some YouTube, but it definitely wasn't as high quality as it is now. And a lot of maturing since then as well. But so far, Halo 5 is pretty good. And only thing I'm worried about is I'm not seeing where Forge is yet. I'm not sure if I'm just skipping over it. But it's not like really visible in the menus. Again, unless I'm totally missing it, then I'm just an idiot. But it's just one of those things where, in my opinion, if you want Halo to be successful, you need to have a good Forge. And Halo 4 didn't have one at all compared to Reach. So I never really played Halo 4 because that's, again, kind of why I played Halo. Was because of Forge. So if you're not going to have a good Forge setup, and you know, granted, it was really hard to beat Reach's Forge because of Forge World and just things like that. They made it massive, and you know, it was a great time. It was great for map developers, things like that, you know. And something I definitely did miss in Halo 4. I wish they would have had a better. And from what I've heard, I heard something that Forge is supposed to be a lot better this time around. When can I play it, you know? I just really want to start playing. Another new game that just came out, spending money left and right on games, is we have Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which I actually did upload a video of that on my channel. Basically going through the campaign. And basically, if you do want to watch that, you know, feel free to. It is uploaded on my channel. It doesn't have too many views now. And I do understand, like, with changing my channel, you know, that I'm not going to get as many views on some of those videos. And you know what? It's not really that I care about that. It's more the fact that I'm putting out more content finally. And I know I have been missing days and uploads, but it's because I've been very busy, and the house series is still going on. We're in actually probably the final house. I was thinking about doing seven houses, but we might stop at 6. It's just one of those things to where I don't really have the time anymore to actually work on those houses. And you know what? It sucks, but I just don't have as much free time now, and I do want to get more content out. And so I'd rather upload more content with Weeby Stranger and doing things like that than maybe, you know, making more houses. Because Season 2 of Houses, like I said, is still going on, but we still, you know, 6 houses, excuse me, is still a pretty good amount of houses, you know. And so I think that's a pretty good amount of houses for Season 2, especially considering that I have work now as well. Now, Season 1, I didn't have work at the time, so I could upload it whatever I wanted. And I had all the time in the world, but now I don't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so now we need to have this. I'm losing breath. Yeah, but Assassin's Creed Syndicate, talking about new games again, is a pretty good game so far. Kind of going off of bad games. Assassin's Creed Unity had a lot of errors and wasn't the greatest game, as we all know. It had a lot of bugs and flaws in it, but you know, the graphics still look really cool. It was a great technical feat from what I've heard when it came to how many like NPCs were on the screen at once. But in my opinion, like, Assassin's Creed's been coming out too fast. And it used to be a really, really good game. The story mode was solid. It actually got you incorporated into the characters. And I feel like with the past Assassin's Creeds, they haven't really had that anymore because they've kind of been rushing to get it out because it's their most popular franchise, I'm guessing, for Ubisoft. It's like, hey, we need to make money. We need to get this game going out. And one thing that kind of really irritated me about Unity, which I'm not sure how many of you guys know this, but they basically, Unity came out and it was broken. You know, it had a lot of bugs, a lot of just really weird stuff going on with it. And before they even fix all the bugs, they already announced Syndicate. So it's basically saying, well, we basically need an Assassin's Creed to fill in this year to make money. So we're going to put out this broken game, and hopefully that will make us money. And we've been working on Syndicate. So it kind of just irritated me a little bit because it kind of showed, you know, they were already working on Syndicate before Unity was even finished. You know, make sure you have a good game before you start working on the next kind of thing. And so it was just one of those small little irritating that kind of got under my skin a little bit. It takes a lot to get under my skin, but it definitely did. And it's just, it hasn't been as good as it used to be. And this road is almost done. So what else is new? So we talked about Halo 5 and Assassin's Creed Unity. Or not Unity, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. That's what it is. I'm trying to think of some other things. Now, speaking of the city, so I've been thinking about stuff I want to do, of course, with the city. As you guys know, I've seen a lot of comments saying, like, what are you going to do after SouthLake is done? And the answer to that is SouthLake's not going to be done for a couple years, if not longer than that, just because of how much space there is. Because you have to think, I can actually expand the world now. It's kind of unlimited to an extent. Oh my goodness, excuse me, guys. I had pizza and it's kind of like, gave me like small heartburn, I guess. That's why I kind of seem like out of breath. Also, I'm talking really fast. I'm not trying to. It's just one of those things I do. I wish I could stop doing that. Yeah, but whatever. But getting back to the topic we were just on, one of the things I actually want to add into the city is I want to add a mall. Now, a lot of you guys know that I already wanted to do that anyways. Now, the question is, where do I want to put it? And I think I have an idea of where to put it. And I've been looking on real-life pictures about, like, where would a mall go in the city? And just different things like that. And one of the cool things about my job, like my actual job, is the fact that it's kind of like architecture a little bit. So I get to see all these amazing designs that architects come up with. And I get to take a... Now, I guess before I get into this, basically like what my job is is a architect will give us a 2D floor plan, right? And so it's a floor plan of each floor. And my job is to go in from the 2D floor plan and turn it into a 3D building. So it's basically like architecture to its own extent, just not with the actual title. I'm a CAD tech is basically my title. And so I basically take a 2D floor plan and turn it into a 3D model based on the floor plans of each floor. So that being said, I get to see a lot of really cool designs come through my office. One of the really cool ones that we're working on now is called Miami World Center. And that's a big mall that they're building in Miami, obviously, Miami World Center. And this thing is massive. It has skyscrapers on top of it. It's going to, I mean, look it up. It's just one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It's a big project. A lot of the projects we work on are from New York and Miami. Those are like the big two. But I've worked on a lot of malls, and like ever since I started 3 months ago. And I've worked on probably 3 or 4 malls. I mean, it's amazing how many malls there really are when you think about it. But the one in Miami is massive. That got me a lot of inspiration after seeing the pictures. There is one in, where was it? Oh, crap, I can't remember. There's one in California that I worked on, which is one of the biggest malls in the world, apparently. I'm not sure if it's bigger than Mall America, but it might be close. And, you know, I just get to see so many awesome designs for things that it gets me a lot of inspiration for my city. And one of the things I kind of realized that I'm lacking a little bit when it comes to the city is greenery, like shrubbery, things like that. I'm green there is. You know, like everything's really compact, put together, and I'm just kind of lacking more green. So I do want to try to incorporate some of that. And also, I need to stop making so many straight lines, which is easier said than done because it is Minecraft, obviously. But what I mean by that is you're going to kind of see it with the ocean a little bit. But I'm getting away from the river. It's completely flat. You know, the walls are completely flat. And that's not really realistic to an extent. Now, granted, it's only throughout the main part of the city which is going to do that. But even then, until everything else is done, it's still going to look superficial, I guess. So I really want to try to make some of my things look more natural, which is going to be really difficult and more time consuming, but I think it will be worth it later on in the future when the city is actually close to completion. I do want to add a lot more small buildings into the city, which, as you guys know, that's kind of what over and across the river is for, is a lot of small buildings. And for those, I'm kind of taking inspiration from like London and the UK because things are a lot more compact there. And the buildings are a lot smaller because there's less space as there is in the United States. You know, there's not as much open space. So they make their buildings a lot smaller because they kind of have to. So I'm going to look at London, you know, there's a lot of different places in the UK for different designs. I'm going to look overseas and maybe like Japan, different places like that. So really, if you want to get great inspiration, I mean, that's what I do. I use Google Maps. That's probably the best thing I can use because it gets me so much inspiration. My chest is like killing me right now. I'm trying to think of some of the other things that I use. I use video games. I mean, I'll look at Grand Theft Auto and see, oh, that looks like a good idea to make in my city. And I'll kind of try to replicate that a little bit. So, you know, there really are endless possibilities when it comes to what you can design. It's really just the limit of your imagination. And just trying to figure out what would look good, you know? I mean, that's the hard part, is once you get the design in your head, trying to execute it and make it look like it did in your head, that's the hardest part. And we're going to finish up this road and probably call it quits for this part. I really don't know like why my chest is hurting. It's really bothering me. You guys need to take a big breath after we're done. But I will fly over and show you guys where I think I want to make them all, because I already do have a design kind of put in place. And just look at all the skyscrapers. It looks pretty cool when you fly across. I really do like this building as well. We're getting off topic. So we're going to have to fly all the way over to the other side of the city, which it won't take too long. But, you know, we do have a lot of buildings. Actually, I did count how many buildings I have, and I have over 100 buildings so far. So, and we're going to be adding a lot more. So what I'm thinking is I want to make the mall pretty close to like right here, you know, like right on the other side of the highway. I think that would be a perfect spot for it because then it will kind of be a smooth transition. And I think that might work pretty well. We'll just have to figure out how much space it will really need. And adding stuff around it will take a long time. But I definitely think I want to add them here. And I think that would probably be the best bet. And it will be more of a closed mall. It won't be open. Yeah, but I think that's a good spot for it. I need to finish up adding buildings over here. Again, these are going to be smaller buildings. And I'm not sure what I want to do with this space. I think, talking about like how I want to keep things a little bit more green, I think I'm probably going to put just a whole bunch of trees and stuff here. Kind of like, I wouldn't say a small park because it's right next to a highway, but just a whole bunch of like trees and things like that will probably go there. But other than that, I think we're pretty close to being, well, I wouldn't say we're close to being done, but we're close to being done with the first part of the city. Obviously excluding interior because I don't do interior. So thank you very much for watching, guys. It is greatly appreciated as always. So definitely look up Miami World Center if you have the chance. It is definitely an amazing design, and I think you guys will be really impressed with it. This is one of the things we're working on at work. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye, and thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.